Welcome back to our channel, Exposing the Great Australian Government. Our primary law. In this document and video, our primary law, we'll be looking at the official government documentation which will show you, the people, the facts on what these purported politicians and political parties have done behind your back and behind closed doors, to move away from our primary law, our 1901 Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act as proclaimed and gazetted. There is a video at the end of the purported politician Anthony Perrett, an ex-mercenary police, telling you what he thinks his job is. This is how out of touch these traitors and criminals are from our primary law, Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901 as proclaimed and gazetted. We welcome anyone to prove this information incorrect, but please back it up with facts. Let's get into it. Our primary law, Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901 as proclaimed and gazetted. Queensland's definition is an original states shall mean such states as are parts of the Commonwealth at its establishment. Now, the state governor wears a different hat for two different jobs. So you've got hat one on the left hand side using the Royal Coat of Arms, which has a royal warrant, to turn bills into acts with Crown and constitutional authority. And hat number two on the right hand side, Governor in Council, seal of Queensland, which has a royal warrant as well, and it's a public functionary seal, used in conjunction with executive government to make subordinate legislation from acts with royal assent for government, departments, etc., health department, education department, etc., etc. Crown and constitutional authority. We are a constitutional monarchy and have every right to mankind. Then we move to this treasonous statutory policy with the rat and the chook, kangaroo and emu, with their Roman laurel wreath underneath. The Constitution, together with the Australia Act 1986, sovereign, independent and federal nation. Queensland, a sovereign, independent and federal nation. No Crown and constitutional authority. Pretend governor commissioned under private company seal created by and for the treasonous political parties in 1997 in their statute law miscellaneous provisions number 81 1997, copyrighted State of Queensland 1997 to them. So this is the private seal, public seal of the state, which they created first in 1991. Treasonous political parties tell us we're a democracy. This seal is a fraudulent copy of our seal of Queensland by removing our imperial crown and replacing it with their royal crown. Now, if you recall the first one we showed you of this one, it was very hard to see what it was. This one's pretty similar, but it's a bit clearer than the 1991 version. So the Oxford Dictionary, imperial, relating to an empire or an emperor, therefore removing our link to the British Empire. This seal is a statutory seal belonging to the corporate state. No Crown and constitutional authority, where we have no rights. So, no Crown and constitutional authority, just treason. There again, the state seal, total corruption. Definition of the political parties Queensland. The status of Queensland as a sovereign, independent and federal nation from 1985 forward. Under the above seal, the political parties have taken ownership of everything you own, including your land. No Crown and constitutional authority. 51 powers of the state. 1. The executive government of the state of Queensland, the state, has all the powers and the legal capacity of an individual. All the state governors are commissioned under this seal. All the state judiciary are commissioned under this seal. All courts are under the power of the state. All political party costume wearing pretend police are under the power of the state, which equals mercenaries carrying guns. Every state tells us that all acts after the Australia Acts are only purported acts with purported enactments. Therefore, we are being told no act has royal assent. There's another picture of the state seal, total corruption. Local Government Act, number 70 of 1993, purported act. The Parliament of Queensland enacts, purported enactment. Local government means a local government established under this act. Local governments are bodies corporate, etc. 35. A local government, A, is a body corporate with perpetual succession. B, has a common seal. C, may sue and be sued in its name. Joint local governments are bodies corporate, etc. 49. A joint local government, A, is a body corporate with perpetual succession. B, has a common seal. C, may sue and be sued in its name. Establishment of corporation. 744. 1. The Local Government Association of Queensland, Incorporated, is established under this Act. 2. The Local Government Association, A, is a body corporate with perpetual succession. B, has a common seal. C, may sue and be sued in its name. 3. The Local Government Association has, in the performance of its objects and functions, all the powers of an individual. 4. It may, for example, A, enter into contracts. B, acquire, hold, deal with and dispose of property. 5. Judicial notice must be taken of the imprint of the Local Government Association seal appearing on a document, and the document must be presumed to have been properly sealed unless the contrary is established. Queensland local government body corporates are extortion rackets. Copyrighted to the State of Queensland, 1993. 5. Judicial notice must be taken of the imprint of the Local Government Association seal. By these treasonous political party appointed judiciary, all the state judiciary are commissioned under this seal. Sovereign, independent and federal nation, judiciary, the state, has all the powers and the legal capacity of an individual. When are we going to start reading, people? It's time to wake up.
I have one question though. I'd like to know, I'd like when you can't talk to and I'd like to see your alliance to, what exactly is it that your job is?
Make law.
That's it, just make law.
Well, that's the primary role that I have, to sit in the Queensland Parliament, and that is why, where we make law, we don't interpret the law and we don't enforce the law. And that's why the very point that I made before about claims against the police or others, or courts, I will not enter into, because I don't have that ability and it's not right and proper that I do try to influence that.
What sort of laws do you make? Or try to make, or put
Well,
forward?
whatever goes through the Parliament, whatever's presented to the Parliament.
I've watched those Parliament meetings and it's just a bunch of 6-year-olds pissing and moaning and living dicks and who's got the biggest balls. Everyone's fighting. So,
Well, that may be your interpretation on it.
Some of you look at the video and half of them are all asleep.
As you very well know, when you sit in opposition, you control very little. I can make speeches in the Parliament as I do to put forward views of my constituents, which I've done recently, particularly in and around some issues related to Powerlink, sponsored petitions. But at the end of the day, in the unicameral Parliament, the government control the numbers.
So you don't do infrastructure for our local area, you don't do employment for our local area, anything like that?
I can tell you now, I make plenty of representations to ministers.
No, I'm not saying you don't, I'm just saying, are those parts of what you have to do?
I don't control the Treasury benches, which is where the money comes from. And unless you sign cheques, control the Treasury bench,
for roads in our
absolutely.
We were at Impey Council meeting 3 weeks ago, and they had a vote on what roads to fix, and they decided that they're only going to fix roads south of Impey, and that is it. They're the most used roads. We pay them to fix our roads. They're not going to fix them.
Well, look, I can't answer for that. As you know, and Mick, you remember this.
To them, it's to why did they have their lawnmowers act like choose one after the other, street, and then pick up the branches that fell off the gum trees and smash it on our fence and damage it.
No, look, I can't answer that. I spent time in local government, enjoyed my time in local government.
There is no such thing as local
No,
government.
Mick, I know that. I know you argued that point years ago.
But we've had referendums.
It said no.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Yes, you're correct. It doesn't.
Comes back to the Australia Act.
Mick, it doesn't. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't
Which is
exist
also
within the
illegal
Constitution. It's through an act of the Queensland Parliament that provides them certain.
Your phone's ringing, mate. Hey, hackers. Your phone's ringing.
Yeah, you're right, Mick. It's not in the Constitution. It's not.
So how can they enforce it? They cannot.
Well, Mick,
It has no royal assent.
Mick, no, I know. I know that you raised these issues when I was in local government with respect to it and the payment of rates and the likes, and I don't know whether you pay your rates or not.
I don't think you
I got no idea.
You've always been here.
No, I haven't.
You've been here for 7 years.
I spent 13 years as
Yeah,
a
but
deputy
we
mayor of
weren't
the
here.
region.
But we weren't here.
I remember out of Curra.
Oh, were you really then?
Yes, I was in the Gympie Regional Council, and I remember meeting you as a councillor at Curra.
And I remember that other one that lied. I goes rowing his boat up and getting to Mary River, looking at lungfish and platypus.
I don't know who that was, but I spent 13 years in local government before being elected in the Parliament, and that's where I first met Mick out there.
No, that meeting out there was was your actual meeting. It wasn't a council meeting. The first council meeting that we turned up to was where Mick Curran told us to fuck off back to Victoria.
Well, I wouldn't. Mick, I can't speak for Mick. Well, so how long have you been there, Mick? Then?
7 years.
7 years. Well, it must have been just after I was elected because it was one of the first engagements I had at Curra at the Country Club.
Because I remember we asked the local council how many cars they have as company vehicles. Light vehicles they came back with and said 786, and I thought well, it would be 6 councillors. You know, 6 cars, not 700. That's $555,000 every 6 months in just registrations. And then they're using it to do holidays and...
But you were raising
People to
council
pay for
issues
it.
back then, I remember that.
I've raised council issues from the day I was born
And
because
everyone
it
that
goes
we spoke
totally
to-
against our constitution.
No, Mick, I remember you raising those issues
When
back
everyone
then.
finds out
I
how
do.
many cars they got,
I do,
it's
Mick.
going to be a shit.
And Mick, as you well know, well, I hope you know, look, I'll meet with you, Mick. I'm not like others that maybe have different views around things, but I won't tell you something that I can't tell you. In respect of
I
whatever.
push facts and facts only.
And Mick, and it's like this. I will read it, but if it's not something I can respond to within my jurisdiction, then and a lot of it, Mick, and I know where you're coming from with it relates to federal issues and federal law and the federal constitution. I know that, Mick. I know that.
Do we have legitimate rights to redress our government?
Well,
No, because they've already threatened us. Everyone's going to be locked up soon. Every country around the world.
there's some
is doing it.
significant change going on within the federal government at the moment around various things that are concerning a lot of people, Mick.
What, in regards to the voice?
Well, much a lot of it.
That's just more division.
Yeah.
We're all human beings.
Yeah.
We're all men and women.
Yes.
We've all got the same shit under our skin.
Yeah.
And that's all the government's ever done is create division so that people don't stand together.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Racism
there's a
only
lot
exists
happening that's been
completely.
proposed there, the change in federal government that's creating some concern.
Have you seen the rat and the chook on the so-called political party money?
It's been taken off now. The new notes. Now they're printing notes again.
Fuck, I haven't got it in me.
No, it's in the pocketbook.
Anyway,
But I honestly thought, I mean, you make up laws. You don't have enough laws.
Oh.
Or they're just more laws to take money off us.
Parliament was never put there to make laws to rule over us.
no, you probably make a reasonable point there in respect to ruling over someone.
Well, that's all they're doing. They're hitting us with the stick. If we don't comply with their bullshit, they hit us with the stick. So when are we allowed to hit back?
Well, Mick, you just need to be careful with that.
Oh, I understand what you're saying, but how far does it have to go before the people will stand up and go, fuck you, we've had enough?
No, well, yeah, Mick, look, there is concern, Mick, but this, as I sit here, it's not people that think about and think through issues, it's the apathy that's within the broader population that concerns me more than anything. And I see that as a local representative, where people just don't understand, don't connect, don't care on a basis.
And it's because of these things.
And it's getting worse, Mick. It's getting worse.
It is.
It is getting worse.
I agree, totally.
And the other thing, in my observation, with it is regional areas, people are generally more connected to what's going on, just by and large. I think the closer you get into the inner cities, the more
more brainwashing and shit that there is in cities.
yeah.
But now with the 15-minute cities, you're all pushing.
Well, it's all, the disconnect gets wider.
I will not be told where I can and can't travel at all by anyone. Nobody.
No. Well, but that disconnect, and I just get it just generally, the apathy in people. And it is increasing.
I understand that.
It is increasing. And that, I think that's concerning, just broadly, because people just don't, it seems to be today that everyone wants everything yesterday, such a disposable sort of income. So when something...
I just want to be left alone.
Yeah. But people just don't value anything anymore.
No, I realise...
Well, not, and I shouldn't say that generally, because there's still a lot of people that do, but broadly, that people valuing certain things, particularly humans, is getting less.
Most have gone used to having someone tell them what they can and can't do, and they've got to ask to go to the toilet, they've got to have someone take them to the toilet.
They get told, because they can't think for themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's happening. Mick, look, I'll have a look at that. If anything regarding police is Triple C, Mick, directly, and I will not and cannot interfere.
Members of political parties, each under their own party's constitution and policies, have deceived us and our constitutional sovereign and monarch by creating, under a progressive evolutionary process, corporations that control all entities inside parliaments, governments and courts of their Australia, with no separation of powers and with purported Governor-Generals and Governors under their control also. Members of political parties, each under their own party's constitution and policies, have thereby committed treason, treachery and sabotage against our constitutional sovereign and monarch, who holds Crown authority under the Crown of the United Kingdom, and against us, the people of the Commonwealth of Australia, which was established and constituted on the 1st of January 1901 under the founding and primary law of the Commonwealth of Australia, i.e. the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901 as proclaimed and gazetted, and as consisting of its preamble, clauses 1 to 9 and the schedule, with the oath and affirmation to our constitutional sovereign and monarch. Politicians are not there to make rules to rule over us. They are there to make sure our country is profitable on the business side of things.